Chev, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
How you doing, man? I'm here trying to, I'm not a tech person, Chev. I'm a creative. I'm not a, but
Hey, listen, that's okay.
okay. So
Nobody judging you. Everybody got number time on their hands.
exactly. So guys, can you hear Shevrin? I'm assuming you can hear him. Um, Chev, like I said, after hurricanes Irma and Maria in the Virgin Islands, and extended Caribbean, as you can imagine, the hell we faced there. My brother, it's almost like deja vu. It's like feeling this stuff all again. And I wanted to make sure that our people in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the extended Caribbean, Anguilla, St. Martin, the Eastern Caribbean particularly, that was very heavy hit by these storms, had a direct connection with Florida policymakers because you guys are on the front lines here in Florida with the corona, with COVID-19. And quite frankly, here in Florida, this is our closest geographic ally. So if with the Jones Act, if goods had to come to us, it would have to go through Florida, then Puerto Rico, then St. Thomas. So I think it's time that being isolated by ocean and water, and I'm just going to be honest, I don't want to make this political, but at this point, I don't have much faith in the federal government, given how basically after Irma Maria, we were just left to ourselves. We were left to ourselves to take care of each other. And that's what happened. And although it was inspiring, I don't think any one of us wants to do that again. And I don't think any one of us wants to feel on the margins, invisible again. So thanks for coming on to the live and discussing what can we expect, man. Just give us an outlook. Because in Florida here, we have, over 1,100 cases of this thing. And I guess we could metaphorically say it's another hurricane, but it's a hurricane we can't really run from. So give us the outlook, Chev.
Yeah, no problem. Well, first of all, I'm happy that you bring in light to this issue because this global pandemic that we're dealing with is so far beyond us just focusing in on Florida. This is something that we're going to have to deal with for some time to come. I will say that right now, looking at our current status in Florida with over 1,000 cases, with over 200 cases in both Miami-Dade and Broward County, and with the governor making it clear that as of right now, he is not shutting down the state of Florida, and we're facing a real serious issue with whether or not we as a state are serious about controlling this virus. One, we as people, we have an obligation. We have an obligation to follow the orders of the government, in which they have said, it hasn't been enforced, but it has been recommended that you stay home and practice social distancing. As of right now, even counties such as Miami-Dade and Broward County have both put out executive orders on what is the right thing for us to do when it comes to ensuring that we are not continuously in the spread of this disease. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we do have a large Caribbean population here in Florida, where family members do live here, and the real issue is that we as a country, that is not where the focus is right now.
And say that again, Shevrin. Chev, I respect your transparency. Yeah. For my people in the U.S. Virgin Islands and extended Caribbean, I have a belief. In a time of crisis, the people you can depend on most is those closest to you. I think, Chev, for very long, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, territories, Anguilla, and these places, we've existed so long as a dependency state that we wait on our parents, which is the U.S. and U.K. They got it. They're going to take care of it. But right now, our parents are struggling. So you just said, honestly, you basically said, in so many words, we're not the priority right now for the extended larger American narrative.
And it's unfortunate because if we consider the Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands as extended family of ours, we should be extending the same type of support.
And that support didn't come during Irma and Maria. So you touched on something, and I gotta, not to digress, but I was in Miami the other day, and you folks are hanging out like we just chilling. Like it's pissing me off. Like I want to get out the car and yell at people, but I don't want to cause. But it's like I think why this is manageable to the point of, as a community, as a people, we treat each other like family. So when I'm seeing young people saying, well, I can't get it, okay, but you can't get it, but you could give it to somebody who's elderly with underlying conditions that can. Touch on that topic of we in the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Caribbean as extended family. What does that mean to you as a policymaker?
Yeah, well, as you know, my family is from my dad is from the Bahamas, and my mom's family is from Puerto Rico. Yeah, and I think the important thing that we all need to understand is that individuals from the Caribbean, our extended families and ancestors practically built South Florida, practically built the East Coast of America. And we learned that through over this last hurricane, where the Bahamas took a huge blow. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that we need to understand is that our neighbors are always there for us. We travel there to their countries to vacation. We travel there to their countries for weddings. We travel there for all these various things. But in the time of crisis, do we really take care of them, or are we just using them for their tourist sightings?
It's like I said. It's like we just add color to someone's spring break. We're caricatures. So. What can we do? We in the U.S. Virgin Islands, I think the governor called, and you know what? Before I say anything else, I have a lot of respect for all the policymakers, the leaders. I know we're at a point where everyone is saying, well, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, but I can't imagine what it means to be in your shoes, Governor Albert Bryan of the Virgin Islands, the governor of Florida, given our small populations in the Virgin Islands. I'm not a scientist, but I have a little bit of common sense. I would think that a smaller population, if you get ahead of this thing early, you could contain it because there's less people to go around. But if you don't get ahead of it early, then it'll spread like wildfire. The issue we've had...
right now... Mm-hmm. Correct. What we're dealing with right now is where it's this myth that people over the age of 60 are the only one who's going to catch it. It's not true. A 36-year-old just passed away yesterday from coronavirus. A 27-year-old passed away last week from it. So this thing has no color limit, no age limit, no anything. Anyone can be infected. And you listen, it is life threatening. And so the fact that people are taking this for a joke is disheartening.
And you've done some things here in Florida. Discuss that a lot to kind of ease the fallout of what we're facing in Florida.
So the fact that people are not working, people are concerned. People are, especially those individuals who are not salaried workers, those individuals who are service workers, those individuals who are hourly workers. They're trying to figure out, how am I going to survive right now to ensure that my lights are not turned off, to make sure that I can pay my rent, to make sure that I can do the essential things to keep my family together. And so what I have asked the governor to do, I've asked them to do three things. Put a moratorium on people getting evicted. I put a moratorium on individuals having to pay their rent or mortgage right now. And the last thing is on March 30th, property taxes are due. So my last ask to the governor was to extend the time frame in which individuals can pay their property taxes for at least 90 days, considering that we don't know when people are going to go back to work. People are scared. People are trying to hold tight to their money because they do not know where this is going, because the leadership is really not giving any direction on where we are going or where all of this is heading, and people are extremely concerned.
So let's take that perspective and put it in the context of living on an island that's geographically separated from the mainland. Geographically separated from their resources. And sadly, as territories, we have not evolved to the sense of self-sufficiency where I don't think we can last maybe 6 months in the U.S. Virgin Islands without aid, without goods coming from the mainland. So you said, quite frankly, we're an afterthought. And I don't know if that's personal or hate. But having said that, our hospitals have been compromised after the hurricanes. If this thing spreads throughout our territory, we just can't facilitate the patients. Look at New York City, a city with unrivaled resources. What can we do? What can we do to either push Washington to open a line to us, or do we do this by ourselves? What measures would you take as a policymaker for us in the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and these territories?
I think the best thing that individuals over in the islands can do is to reach out to because you're in Virgin Islands. I believe you all have a representative that sits
A delegate, yes, but she has no vote, and so it's like, how much can you do?
She's not. She has no vote, but she still has a voice over there.
Got you.
So it's important that they reach out to her to be that voice for you all, especially at this junction and at this time. I mean, I do know the Virgin Islands have closed their doors to tourists.
Finally, yes,
so
finally.
That's the one thing that has happened, which is a good thing. Because you all want the thing. I believe Florida should be doing the same thing. I think Florida should shut the state down until we get this under control. I mean, because if not, we're going to be in trouble.
Why isn't the state being shut down, Shevrin?
Well, it's all up to the governor. The governor, he feels that cases in certain parts of the state are not high enough for us to do a complete shutdown. So you got Broward, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach County, which is considered regional cities. I mean, those are closed down right now, but we're not closing these other states down, which concerns me a great deal.
After the hurricanes in St. Thomas, I just had wishful thinking. I remember being on the roof and thinking, this is the wealthiest, most prosperous country on the face of God's earth. Say the worst will come. I don't think it's going to come, but after those hurricanes, it taught you that the inconceivable is conceivable. People have emailed me, well, Peter, is it beyond Washington to get a floating hospital down there in the Virgin Islands? Is that something that's feasible?
I'm sure. Anything is feasible with the U.S. The U.S. has a lot of power. The U.S. can do whatever they want to do. I mean, the problem is will it happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out what is the best way citizens have to figure out what is the best way for us to broach this conversation with our representatives to ensure that we're taking care of our neighboring territories. Because we can't just leave the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico off the table. Right? I think it's now practice on our part. So I think we have to figure out what is the best way to deal with this, and while engaging our territorial lands, and we work on this collectively, because this can't be done separately. That's my opinion. So
that's not out of our reach, because I'm not comfortable with the healthcare infrastructure in the islands. I'm not. My mother is 76. I'm not. I wasn't. After the hurricanes, I remember sitting wondering, if my father gets sick again from Alzheimer's, will he expire because there's no hospital? So here we are facing another disaster, and our healthcare system is compromised. So the proactive steps you're saying we can take is collectively reach out to Washington and address these needs, is what you're saying.
Correct. Correct. But again, there's a lot that we can do collectively. That's very important, and that's what people have to continue to remember, that people have always had the power, and elected officials, they do need to hear from people, and people need to realize that you are always the one who can. Your voice still matters. I think we should rest in that.
Shevrin, say it again. You said that the people have to understand we are the power. So at the end of the day, I like to believe that the heroes we're looking for were it. Would you agree?
Yes, right. Absolutely. People have always had the power. I don't know what people have gotten this notion from that politics is where the power is at. Politics. They have a sense of power, but people have always had the power.
But I think we're in a state, a climate of America where many of our and like I've always respected you for being authentic and other leaders, but I think we're in a climate where it's a show and a lot of it's become political theater and a lot of gas lighting is going on, and what happens with that is hype. When our leaders feed into the hype of show business, when there's real things happening, it's like telling somebody, yeah, there's water in the desert. Go right up the street. There's water, and you know damn well know there's no water in the desert. And I go up to the desert, and I die. So, from the collective understanding of this conversation it's really on us, individually, collectively, to work together to address this until possibly a cure comes or a vaccine or this thing. I don't know. Nature takes its course.
Well, I mean, yeah. But please understand that there's a way that all of us can mitigate all of this, right? I mean, the one way we can mitigate all of this is by allowing that bell curve to come down, is people staying home. That's it right now. And I know everyone wants to be out. I know it's frustrating. I know it sucks. And I know there's nothing to do. But people don't understand that the more people stay out, the more likely this virus is to spread. And the problem will continue to persist. And remember, if you have aging parents like myself, my mom is 70.
Like my mother, yeah.
73. Yeah, I mean, if we think for 2 seconds that our goal is just to be selfish and say, oh, I want to be out just for the hell of it, what you're not thinking about are those individuals who are over the age of 60 who are very most vulnerable and can catch this. And I just ask people to act like you care for 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds.
Just act like you care.
I had a discussion with somebody. Is it possible because we are in America, this is the land of the free, the home of the brave, so you're not telling me what I can and cannot do?
Well, and then, people who say that are the same ones that when we finally put an enforcement out and the police have to get involved, are the same ones who screaming foolishness, that whether it's racism or all the other stuff. Yeah, just follow the damn rules.
Follow the damn rules. And that applies for us in the Caribbean as well.
It applies to everybody.
Yeah.
It applies to everyone.
Yeah.
And follow the rules. Follow the rules of what needs to happen until we can get back on with our lives and get back to some normalcy.
I mean, Chev, I will say this. If there's any takeaway, there's a lot to learn from folks down in the VI, Puerto Rico, Anguilla, and the islands where when we faced those storms, we were all we had. And we had to put our backs against each other. And I think we're facing a similar crisis. The difference is this is global, so we can't run anywhere.
Right, exactly.
I mean, in closing, man, what message do you have for our brothers and sisters, our extended family in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Anguilla, St. Martin, Caribbean, man?
Yeah. Well, one, to let them know that there are individuals like myself who have families in the islands, and I'm just as concerned with my family as anyone would be with their family, may it be in the States or may it be over in the islands. We are all in this together, and the only way we're going to get out of this together is that we all have to collectively do our part. I think that we can do that, but I think that we have to, again, I go back to we have to follow the rules, do what needs to be done so everyone can get back on with their lives. I do, as far as to the elected officials who are out there doing things, this is not the time to be political. This is not the time to play politics. This is not the time to be campaigning. This is the time where this is your prime opportunity to stand up and do what people have elected you to do, and that is to represent them, period. You have a seat at the table, use it.
And I think, too, I mean, you know me, man. I'm always going to say something very candid from my heart. I think that the concept of saying, well, our federal partners got it, we can lay back, is that playing Russian roulette, or should we understand the Caribbean just from common sense, where waters away, where cultures away? Should we understand to take the bull by the horn and not be lax? Because the federal partners here have to focus on the people here geographically that's in the closest proximity to them. So understanding that is it essential that we understand, yes, we're part of the machine, but we got to oil our engine up ourselves a little bit. Is that wrong to say?
Right. No, you're not wrong at all, my friend.
Shevrin,
not wrong at all.
Thanks for that truth and honesty, my man. And I appreciate your service and everything you're doing. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, boss. I appreciate you, brother.
Indeed. Okay. Thank you. Well, guys, that was the live. Just be safe, stay home, and I think what I gather from that is, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Especially in the Caribbean, especially in the U.S. Virgin Islands. This is, 2 years ago we faced this, man. 2 years ago we faced this. 2 years ago we acted like children to some degree who felt, well, our parents got it. Well, right now our parents are struggling. So take note and understand that once again, we put ourselves on our backs and just ride this thing out and love your neighbor and your stranger the way you love yourself. I see some people going to get goods. You don't have to take the whole store, man. That you don't have to think about other people, man. For once in your life, think about other people and understand that energy will be transferred where you will be blessed. So, thanks for tuning into the live. Like I said, that was my first live. I thank Shevrin. We are all in this together. And as we have more news, we're going to keep going and keep loving each other and keep staying at peace. And keep sending me those funny memes, man. I love those memes. But I love you guys in the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, Florida, everywhere. We're all one family. And I think it's essential that we start to build these bridges with our people, real bridges. Not bridges meant to just come down to the islands, have a drink, vacation. We're more than a vacation. We're a real community. We're real people who deserve to be part of the landscape. And once again, take care of yourselves. I love all of you. God bless.